at 141. Joy McKenna, Nick Lee, a rematch of last year where Joy McKenna won by 1 point with riding time. First time they've met since. Two All-Americans, third and fifth last year in the NCAAs. And there was an unsportsmanlike conduct against RBY for spiking his headgear. 1 point taken away from the team. So instead of 3-0, it's 2-0 for Penn State.
Yeah, but that's a huge win. Match that the Bucks are really, yeah. We're going to take a look at that a little bit later here, but this match is going to be just as exciting.
So Penn State grabs the early momentum with the upset. The true freshman, RBY, upsets Luke Pletcher. And here comes Joy McKenna, probably wrestling as well as anybody in the nation at any weight.
And going up top, he's got Lee in a little bit of trouble. Now Lee has the advantage, and McKenna's able to get his legs out of that block right there, get back to the neutral position. But Joy McKenna going for it early.
Jim, no lack of action here in the first two weight classes. Sold out St. John Arena, getting their money's worth, but it didn't go their way in the first weight. Penn State out in front 2-0.
He's 52-8 as a Penn State Nittany Lion.
McKenna, redshirt senior, two-time All-American, his first time at Stanford. Transferred into Ohio State where he was an All-American last year. Also an academic All-American out of Tawaka, New Jersey, Blair Academy.
Nick doing a nice job with that right hand there. Not really put too much weight on it here. McKenna was ready to do a little barrel roll with that near arm far leg. Showed the single leg with the knee pull and came back with the big move there. Now he gets all the way to the leg. Doesn't collect the second ankle, but he's shelving that right ankle on his hip and he gets the two.
And you're right, Joy McKenna got in. Gets to 2 points, goes out ahead, 2-0.
Yeah, an intentional release. I really like the way McKenna has gone out in this match. First takedown up to an upper body tie, trying to throw Lee. You know he has to, after the results of that first match, he's going out there for the team, trying to create bonus points. But this Nick Lee is pretty solid here. Nice hand fighting. No points. And the fleeing the mat call, actually stalling call.
Stalling, fleeing the mat on Joy McKenna. That's a warning. McKenna out 2-1 in front of Nick Lee from Evansville, Indiana. Was a state champion in Indiana, and then he was homeschooled and trained for the junior freestyle circuit. He was a junior freestyle national champion.
Well, I think Nick Lee's done a pretty good job of weathering the emotions so far of McKenna.
Well, we know he's got poise. He came out of red shirt last year in the middle of the year. Never redshirted. True freshman last year, finished 5th in the NCAAs, and he leads the team this year in wins with 20.
And when he's on his game, he's really moving to the right. He likes to attack that right leg of McKenna. It's really where he lives. Likes to snap the head down and go in that direction as well.
Just how good are these guys? They're both on the international scene. Juniors, seniors. Joy McKenna won the U.S. Open last year, still with college eligibility. Doesn't happen very often.
Beautiful double leg shot. Nice job by Lee getting his hips back, shoelaces flat, getting that hip down. Boy, McKenna has put a lot of effort into this period.
End of the first period, McKenna out front 2-1 on that early takedown. And here is how Penn State lost a team point, spiking the headgear and called it unsportsmanlike conduct. And so instead of 3-0, Penn State out in front 2-0. And there's Coach Sanderson talking to his young, outstanding freshman, RBY, with the big upset to start the Nittany Lions out fast. Escape for McKenna. He's out 3-1 now. McKenna, a 4.0 student.
There's that shot to that side. Tell you what, that's what Nick Lee can do. He weathered the storm right there. Now McKenna gets the escape. All right.
You good with that?
They're going to talk about whether that was a...
Well,
They're going to go take a look, and that's the officials calling for the look. It's not a challenge whether or not there was two. So Coach Ryan is hoping that they think that the control wasn't there before the whizzer came in.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know how much control was gathered there, but it's certainly looked at. Let's take a look at the replay. Again, when we mentioned going to that right leg, like we talked about before, he collects the far leg. Now the question is, how really deep was that whizzer? I think if Lee would have stayed lower, below the waist, probably would have collected this, but with that soft whizzer right there, it just depends. They might be able to wave this off.
And he certainly, Coach Tom doesn't think it's a takedown, but the important thing to remember, Jim, is it was called a takedown on the mat. Has to be indisputable evidence that it was wrongly called to be turned around.
I really think they've got a tough call here. This is
a rematch, like we said, of a very closely contended match last year where McKenna won at Rec Hall over Nick Lee 7-6, and it was a riding time point. Looks like we're on our way. No takedown, call reversed. So they'll take the 2 points off the board, and McKenna will keep his 3-1 lead. And we'll go back to our feet. McKenna with that escape in the second period to get that one after the early takedown. But Lee right back in on the high crotch.
Yeah, he is, and he's got switched to the double, and McKenna's able to get his hip squared out here, belt buckle to the mat. Squared up really nicely there, and Nick Lee proving he can go to both sides.
And talk to me, Jim, about the pace. You talked about how hard McKenna came out. Is that going to affect him? Does it look like it is, and could it?
Well, you're right. He came out in big move pace. Lee has weathered the storm, so now you get back in a position like this where Lee is basically spread out pretty well. He's got his legs spread out pretty well. He can go ahead, put a little pressure. McKenna coming out the back door. Now we're in a little ankle pass area. Locking in the crotch right there. McKenna's very good right here. He can lock the bottom leg. Got enough time to finish it.
McKenna in for 2 more points. Out in front 5-1 now with another takedown with 30 seconds left in the second period.
Well, you saw how gutty that finish was. Lee back at it again. Snapping the head down. He's really making McKenna work. 1
point escape for Nick Lee, and you're right. Not at all taking the pressure off McKenna. Out in front 5-2, 2 takedowns, an escape for McKenna, 2 escapes for Lee.
Really impressed with that finish, though. At the right time, came out the back door. Good finish.
5-2 at the end of the second period. Let's go to Shane with more on Joy McKenna.
McKenna's 35-2 in 2 years here at Ohio State since coming over from Stanford. You see the pace. I talked to head coach Tom Ryan, said McKenna is much more relaxed, wrestling with freedom. He's a perfectionist in the classroom and on the mat, sometimes to his detriment, but this year, just letting it fly, just wrestling. And he's outscored his opponents 138-31, also a couple pins on the season. He's been a freight train for the Buckeyes.
Thanks, Shane. McKenna 14-0 this season, one of 3 undefeated Buckeyes so far.
And this is one of his best positions here in the top position here. He's already collected 35 seconds of riding time. Lee going for the switch. He's driving back in. McKenna does not concede takedowns easily, so that's great effort by Lee.
Back in on the reshot.
Yeah. And this is just the pace that McKenna came out with early. See, he's struggling right now to get his composure.
No riding time advantage for either wrestler. It's 5-5, 1:15 left in the third period. And Lee is going to cut him. He feels the pace in his favor, Jim.
Certainly does. McKenna came out so strong in this match. Lee feeling it now. Made McKenna work all the way through the first 2 periods. Now he's back in on a shot, but notice not as much setup or penetration for that matter. Did Lee take advantage of it?
And Lee did a good job getting out from underneath, because I felt the key for McKenna was riding, and he wasn't able to do that to the extent that I'm sure that was in the game plan.
I think you're right there. Now another shot. Spun around, no points. Nice little trip right there. Take down Lee.
30 seconds left. Nick Lee out front, 7-6. All he has to do is ride him out for the win. And Penn State
It's over.
Blasted out of the cannon in these first two matches here in St. John Arena.
You can see him hovering and covering. Got that near arm tied up, putting weight on McKenna. It's all been about pace in this match, and Nittany was able to weather McKenna's pace and responded with another big win for the Lions.
Winner by decision, Nittany, and the team score after 141 is Penn State 5, Ohio State 0. A lot of emotion, electric here, and most of it in the corner of the Nittany Lions.